Welshman Rob Brydon is one of the UK's most successful comedians. He starred in hit shows like Gavin and Stacey and The Trip, and next year he'll bring his stand-up tour to Australia for the first time. He's possibly best known here for his freakishly accurate impersonations.
Hey, have you heard Rob do his little man trapped in a box voice? It is the best thing ever.
Do you think I'm some sort of performing monkey who can just be prodded to do his small man in a box voice whenever you... Where are you? Somebody get me out.
Rob Brydon, you're about to come to Australia on a stand-up tour. Once you're famous and you're known for being funny, is the bar to get a laugh from a room lower or higher?
It's definitely an advantage. When you start out, typically as a comedian, you're doing what they call open mic spots. You're playing in rooms, you get 5 minutes, and the expectation is you're not going to be very good. So that's very, very hard. Frankly, after that, everything is gravy.
I read that you once said that people can relate more to stories about years of struggle, and you certainly had plenty of struggle in the early part of your career, but now you're very successful. What do you draw on for your stand-up material now?
I talk a lot about getting older. I talk a lot about, I'm 53, I got 5 kids, 2 of them very, very young. So I talk about the challenges of that. I talk about how a marriage changes over the years.
Do you Michael Caine?
OK. I say, Michael Caine used to talk like this in the 1960s, right? But that has changed. And I say that over the years, Michael's voice has come down. I can't go fast because Michael Caine talks very, very slowly.
But I also throw in a lot of the stuff from now, the sort of... I had a nice story about when I met Mick Jagger at a party, and he started impersonating Michael Caine because he's a big fan of The Trip, where I impersonate Michael Caine. So I tell these stories and I do these impressions. There's a McCartney story. And
how is Mick Jagger's impersonation of Michael Caine?
It's very poor, very poor. I think Mick is a man of many talents, but I would say impersonation is not one of them. He doesn't watch this, does he? Because I'd hate to upset him. His impression did leave me wondering what he was doing. I thought maybe he was having a funny turn.
I love Mick Jagger's chutzpah as well, that he's come up to you, who's probably considered one of the great impersonators anywhere, and he's gone, I know what I'm going to do for this guy, an impersonation.
Yeah, it's a very strange thing. I always say it's the people that you meet who are your heroes as a child. You know, the way you view the world as a child. It's mysterious, isn't it? There's so much you don't know about it. And the stars that you admire at that age, they live in some other universe. So when you then meet them as an adult, it's remarkable. And when they then know your work, it's amazing. And if they like your work, well, that's a lot to get your head round. So to then have him at the corner of the room, trying to sort of do Michael Caine was just incredible.
Have you bumped into Michael Caine since your impersonation of him on The Trip just became so famous?
Yeah, we have. Steve and I did a thing with him. There was an evening in his honour at the Royal Albert Hall, and they had a great idea to how to start this show. I think this is on YouTube, actually. The idea was the lights went down, but they stayed up on one of the boxes at the Albert Hall. And Steve and I arrived late, and we go into our seats and we're saying, oh, sorry we're late, being the big I am. Sorry we're late. We sit down and we say, we're looking forward to this. Yeah, it's going to be great. And we go into doing our impressions of him, okay? And the audience are laughing. And what they don't know is that Michael is sat a few rows behind us, and he's got a programme in front of his face, and he slowly brings it down and stands up, and the audience went crazy. They were cheering and everything. And I think he looks at us and he says, you're funny men, but you're out of shape.
You're funny men, but you're out of shape.
Are you the sort of person who can enjoy where things are at now and enjoy being in the moment, or do you worry about, is it still going to be like this next year? Do I have to keep it going?
I try not to drive myself into the ground because things are going well and do as much as you can. So I try to have a good balance. So this tour was my first one for about 8 or 9 years, and I thought, right, once I've got a show, I'm going to take it out there. I'm going to go there. But again, I've organised it in such a way that I finish in New Zealand, I think around the 5th of April, and that's our school holiday. So my wife will come out, and we're having a big holiday. You know, it has to fit around the family stuff as well.
Well, that sounds absolutely terrific and a perfect balance. So I do hope that you and your family have a beautiful time out here. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thanks very much. Really nice to talk to you. Thank you.